Good morning to you all. Welcome back to the Namaste Village experience. So great to have you on this new week, this new moment. I see some new faces. I see some faces who have been gone for a while. And as always, it is such a joy to join in a single intention. That's the key. We're not just here to have fun or to chit-chat. We're here for one reason: to remember. To remember who we are, who we've always been, who we couldn't stop being if we try, and boy, have we tried. I know I certainly have tried very hard to be something other than as I am known by God. And now is a time we just relax into that experience of knowing, remembering, and then sharing. Of course, the only way for it to remain active within us is to give it away, to be the source of that. We can have a profound spiritual experience, remembering the reality that is forever real, but unless we choose to continue that energy, that light, that joy, it begins to fade unless we share it. So that's what we're here to do. That's what the joining is all about, sharing in that experience. So we are going to begin with our morning affirmation. I'll put it up on the screen, and I'll invite all of you to join me in our two-part affirmation. Here we go. The peace of God is everything I want. The peace of God is my one goal, the aim of all my living here, the end I seek, my purpose, and my function in this life, while I abide where I am not at home. And I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent the one who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because the one who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever God wishes. Knowing God goes there with me, I will be healed as I let God teach me to heal. Amen. I hope you really feel those words, to be truly helpful. Not mainly, not mostly. To be truly helpful means this is my only goal, because I know that when I'm being truly helpful to you, who else is receiving that? I am. There's only one of us here. Only one of us here. That doesn't make any sense intellectually, because we look around, we see, 50 people here, another 50 people here. There are a lot of people. So to say there's only one of us here, this is the mystery, this is the experience, to see through that facade, the facade of multiplicity, to the reality of one. Now, there have been lots of pathways into that experience. Lots of ways of accessing the memories that are becoming so real to us now, the memory of one. And even in the last 40 or so years, we've seen lots of different aspects. I remember, it was just over 40 years ago now, when I first graduated from a good Jesuit university. I was a very nice young Catholic boy, and then I went off and I met an amazing woman who introduced me first to Yogananda. And I read Autobiography of a Yogi, and it blew my mind. I know that's true for many of us. It's like, wow, this is outside my Catholic frame just a bit, but I sure do like it. And I remember on the north side of Chicago, we have other people here from Rogers Park. And right around the corner from my house, this was when there were New Age bookstores popping up all over the place. Do you remember that? Well, there was a New Age bookstore right around the corner called, I think it was called Aquarius Rising. And I started going there, and I really loved it. It was amazing. All this new stuff, crystals and channeling. And I got pretty into it. I know it's hard to believe, but I remember they had a lot of tapes from this channeled entity named Lazarus. How many of you remember Lazarus? Well, I actually just found out that Lazarus is still out there sharing and teaching, but this was a very new thing to me. The idea that there was this entity who was from another time and dimension, who was speaking through this man named Jack, and Jack Purcell, I think his name was, and it was really kind of fascinating because he would always start off with a big smile and say, "Ooh, right now." And he was speaking a different voice, a different accent. It was kind of Scottish, kind of something else. And I have to say, it really was profound. It was a definite shift in my own awareness to listen to everything that Lazarus was sharing. And if we go back 40 years, I think this is true for many of us. It was very common for us to be relying upon the voices and the teachings of beings from other times and dimensions, beings from extraterrestrial planes, and from, dead saints from hundreds or even thousands of years ago. This was a very normal thing. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that we weren't ready to do something that we're ready to do right now, which is to accept that it's me, that it's you. It doesn't have to be some fantastic character from another dimension. That was useful for a time when we weren't ready to acknowledge that it's me, that it's you. But now you are. You're ready for that?
Yes.
Amen. Can I hear an amen?
Amen.
Isn't that the whole path that we've been on, is to come to the point where we don't have to rely upon anything but that inner wisdom that's brewing and bubbling up inside each and every single one of us? Yes, we read books like A Course in Miracles and A Course of Love, and certainly we listen to other teachers, but they're all simply to get that boil going, to get the water boiling. This past weekend, I was able to speak at a wonderful conference that our friend Bill Free sponsored, and there were hundreds and hundreds of people. And I could see, as I looked out at the group there on Zoom, I could feel the boil. I could feel the energy beginning to rise. And everyone saying, "It's me." Not me in a personal way, as in my personality, but me in a divine, impersonal way. That it's each one of us. That oneness is moving through and as each one of us. And yes, there was a time in which entities like Lazarus were helpful. They certainly were for me. But I had to lay that aside so that I could really listen to what Lazarus was saying and everyone else was saying. Because we can hear the message, we can hear Lazarus or any other entity say, it's all within you right now. But if I say only, "Thank you, Holy One, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you." No, that's not true at all. We have to listen to the teaching, apply the teaching, and realize that I am that teaching, whether it be A Course in Miracles, Lazarus, or anything else. I went out to dinner last night with Sal and Mara, and one of the things that we were talking a little bit about was what I like to think of as the swimming pool of enlightenment. We could use the analogy of a swimming pool. And a place like Namaste Village is a very good example of this, because we all come here in different levels of experience in terms of waking up to what we just shared, to realize that it's just me. Some of us still do think that we need to listen to the voices of other channeled entities or other teachers, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that. That is a definite step in the path. But there must come a point in the path where we leave behind the shallow end of the pool, where we can feel the bottom of the pool beneath our feet, because that gives us some security. And we then have to slide down. You know how a swimming pool, there's the shallow end and then there's the slide down into the deep end? We have to slide now into the deep end of the pool, where we don't have the security of listening to another voice telling us who we are. We listen only to the voice within, reminding us that we have always been the holy, perfect child of God. And there's nothing wrong, certainly, with that stage of being on the shallow end of the pool, just like there's nothing wrong with a child being in the children's pool, where it maybe goes up to your knees. You know, that's a step in the journey. But the step is always you're in the water. You're in the pool. Slide. I remember in this talk that I gave, I heard a lot of feedback from people saying, there were 3 words that you said that meant all the difference. We could take everything you shared and bring it into those 3 words. And if we can live those 3 words, we would have everything that we need. And you've heard me share these 3 words over and over, because it's the only thing that's necessary. And here they are. You are ready. You're ready. So slide. Slide to the deep end of the pool. You have everything that you need. I promise you, you'll know how to swim, because all the teaching, everything that we've been sharing here is within you. So the fear that, oh no, if I go to the other end of the pool, will I be able to swim? Yes, of course, you're ready for this. You don't have to wait. You don't have to feel the security under your feet anymore. And then suddenly we find ourselves floating, we find ourselves swimming, and now and then we can even dive to the bottom of the pool, where we might find some jewel, some beautiful gift, but we have to dive to the bottom of the pool to get it. It's some kind of wisdom that we receive. And yet, it's still the pool. Even that we must leave behind. The pool of trying to figure all of this out. Guess what? It's not ever going to work. You're never going to be able to figure this out, but if you surrender, as we call every day, you'll realize that it figured you out a long time ago. And that's the key. You have been figured out. There was never any real confusion about who you are and who you've always been. And so what happens when we come to that point, we recognize a channel in this pool that we never saw, we never recognized before. A very small little channel at the far end of the deep end of the pool. And it's kind of hidden. But if we look into that panel, or that channel, it looks like an opening, but kind of dark. But at the end, we can see a tiny light. And when you have enough courage, which I believe each and every single one of you now have, when you have enough courage to know that even here, even in the deep end of the pool, there is something waiting for you. An experience wholly unlike anything you've ever known. We slide into that hole, into that channel, and we begin to swim. And suddenly we get closer and closer to that light until we finally emerge in the ocean. What I like to call the infinite ocean of grace. Infinite, whole, complete. Not contained like the safety of a swimming pool, but suddenly here we are in this eternal, vast space where we could dive to the very depths. We have everything that we need. We can bring up gifts and treasures that were never available to us in the swimming pool. Now, once again, the swimming pool has its place. Just as the kiddie pool has its place, the shallow end of the pool has its place, the deep end of the pool has its place. I promise you that every single one of you is already in the deep end. And some of you have even gone through that channel. Some of you have had the courage to swim into that darkness, to emerge into this infinite ocean of grace. Now, every once in a while, we may swim back to the swimming pool. Hopefully, not to say to everyone, guess what? I have seen the other side. I am now the access point through which you can see this. Hopefully, that's not it. It happens a lot, though, doesn't it? Someone has an experience that is wholly unlike anything they've ever known before, and they immediately think that I am now the one, the teacher of that experience, rather than saying to everyone, I am certainly your guru. I just want everyone to know I'm your guru. But only in the sense that I'm calling you to spell the word. G, you are you. With a capital Y. You're the whole thing. It's not about relying upon me or anyone else. It's about knowing that you can rely totally on that wisdom within you. Mm-hmm. It's so simple. And yet so many people still, it's what we would call one of the three enlightenments. If you've read either the Yeshua Code or the Art of Spiritual Peacemaking, you'll know that we can break it into the three enlightenments. The first is the illumined mind. And what happens in the illumined mind is we've had this vast experience of awakening, which calls us forward and calls us to remain in that infinite ocean of grace. But what sometimes happens is we see and we feel this infinity, and then we rush back to tell everyone else about it. Because there's still attachment. But if we stay in that infinite ocean of grace, we move to the second stage, which is the awakened heart. Suddenly my heart awakens, and the love that I feel is everlasting, eternal. And finally, the third stage, the awakened, I got to remember these things myself. The illumined mind, the awakened heart, and the realized soul. The realized soul. And in the book it says, of this we cannot speak, because it's wholly unlike anything that words or concepts can ever explain. So if you want to continue to listen to Lazarus or any other, that's fine. There's certainly nothing wrong with that. If it gives you a little push. Sometimes we need a little bit of a push to go from the shallow end of the pool to the deep end, and then finally through that channel to the infinite ocean of grace. But you don't need to, because it's you. It's always been you. Just trust that. Rely upon that, and you'll find yourself where you have always been. So with that, Vicki, I can see you there. Good morning. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, and I'm just so looking forward to what you're going to share with us about that infinite ocean of grace.
Well, Brother Jake, you're on fire. And I have an echo here. You have it there. And I'm very grateful that you brought up those three stages of enlightenment, because no matter what everyone in any book or person or guru ever says, you were guided to give a kind of an outline that is exquisite. And that illumined mind is often, it's like when someone first reads Yogananda and they've been a Catholic all their life. Oh my gosh, it sparks that mind to expand. And then that awakened heart that realizes, oh my gosh, it's just about giving love, opening to receive it and giving it. And then I love the idea of this hidden channel in the swimming pool because I love swimming pools. So I love the idea. And the passage into that, the best I can express it, is really no attachments in form. I mean, none. I mean, like, let it all go. No trying to get anything, no trying to protect anything. And that's why our lives are such good mirrors for us to see where we still need to stay in the pool and we're kind of hesitating to dive into that channel, into that unknown spaciousness. But what I would say, because I spend a lot of time in the deep end of the pool with all of us, we've been there, and the marker there, and this is the thing that has readied, I think, all of us and is readying us to go into that channel. Trust the prompt in your heart. And you said that beautifully. Trust it. Because not only I am ready, I am that. I am that divinity. I am that allness that we have a longing and an openness for. I am that. And if we can trust the prompt in our heart, the prompt in our heart is always going to be the voice of spirit, of our Christed self. And it's always going to express love. It will not be something to get, it will be the prompt to give. And when in the deep end, the other thing we know in the deep end, I guess I talk best about the deep end because I spend a lot of time there. The deep end it's why it's so simple. What is not love is a call for love, period. What is not love isn't, period. These are simple things. This is what happens when you live in this territory and you are swimming comfortably in the deep end. And when you look to the channel to really go through it, what comes up is wherever you're still holding some little tiny attachment. I still want my privacy. I still want this. I still want those. That's the place when we get to that channel and we say with abandon, I don't care, take it all. I'm all yours. And what are we all yours to? That allness of what we already are. The I am that I am. That's all I'll say. I want to give everyone time. I love you all. Thank you, Brother James. This was exquisite.
Thank you, Vicki. Yes, it's time to swim through that channel. So, Penny, honey, why don't you come up and take us by the hand and lead the way?
You got your swimmies,
Even if we're floating.
even your floaties, your swimmies, your fins, whatever those things are that we think we need. I heard something on Sunday by Reverend John, and I thought this was a perfect fit. The oneness in the allness, Ralph Waldo Emerson told us. It's the oneness in the allness. And that channel is really a cool visual. Now, where I'm from, we didn't have swimming pools. We had gravel pits. We were so close to the water table that they would dig to pull the aggregate, the dirt out of the ground, and pools would form. That's where I learned to swim. And the slide down was as you're tiptoeing along and you feel that big boulder on the edge and you slide into the deep. Sometimes it wasn't always fun. Sometimes it was a little scary. I venture to guess that's true in our lives. Sometimes it's not fun, but I see that channel as the portal, that slide, as the place that we're asked to remember our oneness. And then we get to pass into the greater, the wide open ocean, the infinite. And yeah, we'll bounce back and forth. Sure we will. We'll want to go back up where we can feel that ground under our feet. Isn't it great to be human? The illumined mind, the awakened heart, the realized soul. I think that we slide in and out of all of those. At least I do. And it is in that pool of grace that we get permission to do that, to be that. And those gravel pits, just like a swimming pool, as you slide into that deep water, it is in that moment that you recognize your power. It's in that moment that you embrace your allness, the oneness in the allness. We come into community like this so that when we start to feel our little toes drop into the deep, somebody is cheering us on. Somebody is holding that high watch and that consciousness with us. We're not in this alone. We're in this as one. See the difference? That channel in the pool, I'm looking that direction. I'll meet you there. Namaste.
I'll meet you there. I like that. Okay. You know, I had a really good image of what our role is for each other sometimes. So sometimes when you're first learning how to swim, you put those floaties on your arms, you stick your arms through, and then you can float into the deep end of the pool because you have the security of knowing that you're floating there. Well, sometimes for you, for me, for all of us, for any teacher of God, what our job is to walk up to you with a pin and pop those floaties. Because I know you can swim. You may not know it, but I know it. And if we can pop those things so suddenly you're forced to begin to swim, that's a very good thing. Because you have everything that you need right here and right now.
You wear the pin.
So we're going to share our chant one more time before we go, and to realize that we are here to be truly helpful. That's the only reason we're here. Sometimes that means a pin, pop. Sometimes it means just holding someone's hand on the shallow end of the pool. But still, we're here to remember the truth that is forever true, the reality that is forever real. Please join me. I am here only to be truly helpful, and I am here to represent the one who sent me. I do not need to worry truly helpful, to be truly helpful, to be truly helpful. I am here. I am here. And to that we say, Amen, 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 e punto. Have a beautiful day. We love you all. Namaste.